You can't go wrong with Now It's Dark.
Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. I'm Jim. I just watched the new Russell Crowe movie, The Exorcism, 2024, 1 hour and 35 minutes. And this is a horror thriller, all based around the supernatural and the religious horror that I love so much in exorcism movies. And yeah, this delivers in a very different way than what I was expecting, and that's not a bad thing. This was directed by Joshua John Miller, who was also co-writer with M.A. Fortin. And like I said, it stars Russell Crowe. It stars Lee Miller as Ryan Simpkins, Russell's daughter. I'm sorry, stars Ryan Simpkins as Lee Miller. I messed up the names there. Sam Worthington has a role in this as Joe. Chloe Bailey plays Blake Holloway, and we'll get to her in a second. Adam Goldberg plays Peter. He's like the director. He's good in this movie, but I just, in general, I've never really liked Adam Goldberg, but he's okay in this movie. And then the surprise actor for me was David Hyde Pierce, and he plays Father Connor, and he has an interesting role in this as well. So, yeah, the movie is about a movie being filmed about, um, very like The Exorcist. It's about a teen possessed girl, and that would be the character Blake Holloway, played by Chloe Bailey. And the opening sequence, we see the set, we see the whole humongous movie set. It's very cool, with the house that the film takes place in, and there's like a lead actor um, reviewing his lines, kind of acting out his scene, practicing whatever that's called. And yeah, something sinister happens, and now there's a lead opening for this film, and that's where Russell Crowe comes in. Anthony Miller, uh, commonly referred to by his own daughter as Tony. And that's kind of like a subplot throughout the movie. And yeah, Tony is trying to get back on track. He's trying to overcome some past setbacks having to do with alcohol and some personal trauma. He was, uh, a popular actor in this universe, in this world. And then with whatever happened with his wife, the death of, it strained the relationship with the daughter, and also his ability to maintain normal functioning lifestyle. So he went into a multiple year of depression and alcoholism, and he's trying to work his way out of that. And he struggles with that through this movie because of just the kind of stuff that's going on. There's also some hints at some potential uh, inappropriate Catholic Church behavior of him when he was an altar boy. I don't know if that really was necessary for this movie, but I think it was trying to drive home the sense of how disconnected Tony Miller, the character, was from the Catholic Church. And now here he is, um, auditioning and about to get the role to play a priest, father, in a exorcist type horror movie. Um, Sam Worthington would be his co-star. He has very few scenes, actually. He's a good background character. And David Hyde Pierce is an actual father who is brought on board to the movie to be the consultant, I guess, or whatever, the guy that says, yeah, that's Catholic, or no, that's not what we would do, or whatever. So yeah, so we get that opening scene, and then we get the audition. Uh, Russell Crowe struggles with it, his character, um, and we kind of get left with that he didn't get the role, but then it immediately goes into the cast party. It's like they're about to start filming. Um, the movie, and they're doing the big cast party, and this is kind of like that that kind of traditional scene where that's where we get our opportunity to meet all of the characters, all of the secondary players and the background people, the set people, the actor people, and that's where we also first meet Father Connor, played by David Hyde Pierce, and he gives off a real creepy vibe, and I don't know if that was just me or if that was by design. Um, I thought the music in this, I wrote this down that I thought the music was particularly interesting because it wasn't a consistent all through the movie, the soundtrack. And there was definitely times where the music was used to elicit a jump scare. And it actually worked for me in one particular moment. And then I became kind of aware of that was going to happen more often, and it didn't. Sometimes I drift in and out when I'm watching a movie. I drift in and out of kind of reviewer mode into just viewer mode, if that makes sense. And I did that a few times with this movie where I just instinctively wanted to start comparing it to something else. And then there were moments where I was just so engrossed in the scene that I was just really into it. There's a lot of really good um, camera work, cinematography wise. I thought it was very good. There's some very dark scenes, but they're not so dark that everything is just washed out in blackness. There's like the traditional shadow play kind of stuff. There's imagery in the background. Um, I thought that was all cool. So something that they did throughout the movie is that they kind of had like chapter cards in between certain scenes, and it was to um, inform the viewer how far along in the process of the filming we were. So it started off with shoot day 1, and then it went to shoot day 2, and then to 11, and then to 15, and then I think it kind of stops at the 15, or I just stopped paying attention. It just kind of, maybe I just stopped um, noticing it. But this movie goes in a direction that I wasn't expecting. So um, we get no kind of hints as to why there is any kind of entity or whatever on this movie set. There's no real clear, or maybe I missed it, like reason for why. And with Tony being like this traumatized, depressed human, that's the catalyst for possession. Like that's the recipe for being possessed, even though he's not a young girl. And with his alcoholism, so that's always like a kind of touch and go plot device for me with the whole we have a recovering addict, and it's a tropey thing to all of a sudden go back to that addiction and then have people blame that, oh, you went back to the bottle, that's why these things are happening. And they do that a little bit in this, and not as badly as some other movies. um, so Tony's daughter Lee was expelled from school. So Tony Miller had made arrangements so that she could be supervised basically by him, that she become a PA on the set. And while on the set, she kind of develops a friendship with one of the stars of the movie that's being filmed, Blake, played by Chloe Bailey. And their relationship is also like a subplot that kind of threads through the movie, and then has, they're part of the final group at the end of the movie. David Hyde Pierce, his character didn't take the direction that I expected, and the same for Tony's. They kind of, what I thought we were being set up for, their roles ended up flipping, and then they flipped again. And it was kind of a weird dynamic, but I really enjoyed it. Russell Crowe, I thought his acting was pretty good in this. It was really solid. Um, and I couldn't help but think of when I saw him in the Catholic priest uniform that he just kept reminding me of the Pope's Exorcist movie that I really enjoyed not too long ago. So it's kind of a strange thing that he played a priest again, but he's playing an actor playing a priest, so you have to kind of remember that. But there's something about his voice when he's delivering lines in this scenario, doing exorcism, and I really just enjoy his voice. He looked just like a fat old guy, though, to be honest. I feel like our body types are very similar, very dad bod, very in our 50s with dad bods and the unshaven face kind of thing going on. I keep referring to my notes because I want to make sure um, I don't miss anything. So yeah, the chapter cards, we have day one, shoot day one, and then shoot day two. Stuff already starts happening as soon as shoot day two, but they really, really amp up and get intense when we're at 11, and then at 15 we're full blown possessed and doing like the whole bone crunching, back flipping exorcism stuff, possessed, stuff. And again, the sound quality was really good. Like the whole bone crunching and just ooze and that kind of sound was really amped up, and it was really good. You definitely don't not hear when there's movements going on. Tony goes coo choo, and a lot of it gets directed at his own daughter Lee. And there's just like some intense, shocking words coming out of his mouth, and just amazing things. I wrote legit moment of shock during one whole string of scenes, and then they do like the tropey possessed exorcism movies where like the lights flicker, the person's in one spot when the light is on, and then the light goes off, and then when they come back on just a second later, they're in a whole entirely another spot, or they're right up in your face. And we get all that good stuff in this. Um, so I don't have a lot of criticism for this movie. I did actually enjoy it. I am so glad that I did finally get to watching it. I think this came out in May. I'm not 100% sure. But it's definitely a good movie. The ending is a little off. I don't know like how I feel about the way the movie ended. So it's really hard to explain. I'm not even going to try to describe the ending, but we did have four characters at the end. There's not a whole lot of killing and things, and that's probably pretty standard for possession movies and exorcism movies. It's more of the shock stuff, like the verbal stuff and the body transformation and look of the possessed person, whatever. David Hyde Pierce, solid performance. I was really happy to see him in this. He's a great actor. He did a horror movie years ago too, and he was really good in that too. He's kind of like a surprise because everybody knows him as Fraser's brother, Niles, and he's just very unique. And I think he did a really good job. The cast overall was pretty good. Even Adam Goldberg, whom, like I said before, I don't really like him, but he's, I think, meant to be the least likable character as the director at this movie. So, if you go on to see The Exorcism, let me know in the comments down below. If this kind of flew under your radar, hey, I'm there with you because all of a sudden it was here. And I knew about the movie, but I think there's a lot of other bigger name movies getting attention. Deadpool, Wolverine, Maxine, and others. So this could fly under your radar, but keep an eye out for it. If you got 95 minutes, it's not terribly long, which is perfect. And let me know what you think, particularly about the ending, because that's where things went a little off for me. But that's going to do it. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.